two-digit multiplication techniques. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to multiply two-digit multiplication problems under the three different cases. For case 1, we're going to multiply two-digit numbers where both numbers are between the numbers 10 and 20. In case 2, we're going to multiply two-digit numbers where both numbers are between the numbers 90 and 99. And then in case 3, we'll be multiplying two-digit numbers where both numbers are between 10 and 99. Okay. So let's look at case number 1. We're multiplying two-digit numbers, and as you can see, both numbers are between the number 10 and 20. So the technique that I'm using doesn't have a name. However, when I look at my two digits, I look for a number that's close to 10. So as you see, the number 12 is 2 units above 10. So what I'm actually going to do is add 2 to the number 14, which lets me know that my first set of digits is 16. And then I'm going to multiply my unit digits. My 4 plus times 2 is going to be 8. So when I take 14 and I multiply it by 12, my answer is 168. Okay? So the question is, does it matter which number that I compare to 10? It really doesn't. So for this case, I'm going to use 3 because 13 is 3 units above 10. And I'm going to add that to 15, which tells me my first set of digits is going to be the number 18. And then I'm going to multiply my unit digits. And I know that 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to put down my 5 and carry my 1. And when I combine this, I'm going to get 195. This tells me that when I take 13 and I multiply it by 15, I'm going to get 195. For this case here, I have 16 times 17. Doesn't matter which number I add, so I'm going to say take 17, and I'm going to use the 7 because it's 10 units above 10. It's 7 units above 10. I'm going to add it to my 16 so that my first unit, my first set of numbers, is going to be 23. Then I'm going to multiply my unit digits, and I know that 7 times 6 is 42. So technically, I'm going to put down the 2, carry the 4, and when I combine those numbers, my answer is going to be 272. And for my last example on the case 1, I'm going to take the 13 because it's 3 units above 10. I'm going to add this 3 to this 14 and let you know that my first set of digits is 17. And when I multiply my unit digits, I'm going to get 12. So I'm going to put down the 2 and carry the 1. So my answer is going to be 182. Okay. As you can see, it doesn't matter which number I add. If I added the 4 to the 13, I still would get 17, and my unit digits would still multiply out to be 12. So that's how we do case 1. And now we're going to work on problems for case 2. Now, in case 2, we're going to use a little different technique, but almost similar. Both of our digits are between the number 90 and 199. So since we're going to use the number 100 as our base. So if 100 is our base, I look at 97, and I'm going to say I'm 3 units away from 97. So I'm going to represent that at top with a negative 3. And the number 98 is 2 units away from 100. And since it's below 100, I'm going to put a negative 2. Now, just like when I did case 1, I'm going to combine these two numbers as they go across. If I take the 97 and I subtract 2 from it, I'm going to get 95. If I take the 98 and subtract 3 from it, I'm still going to get 95. So I'm convinced that my first digit is 95. Now, because my numbers are close to 100, I have 2 more digits because 100 has 2 zeros in it. Therefore, I'm going to multiply this 3 times this 2, and then a negative times a negative is a positive, so my answer, 3 times 2, is going to be 0.6. So when I take 98 and I multiply it by 97, I'm going to get 9,506. Cool technique. So let's try this one. 96. I am 4 units away from 100, so I'm going to put a negative 4 on top. 97, I'm 3 units away from 100, so I'm going to represent that by negative 3 on top. To get my first set of numbers, I'm going to add across or combine like terms. If I take this 97 and I subtract 4 from it, I'm going to get 93. It's the same way if I took this 96 and subtract 3 from it. I'm still going to get 93. So my first number in the front is going to be 93. And again, because my base is 100, I have 2 more digits to put down because there are 2 zeros in 100. To get those numbers, I'm going to multiply these 2 digits at the top. And I know that 4 times 3 is 12, or negative 4 times a negative 3 is a positive 12. So my answer is 9,312. Let's look at 2 more examples. This 3 is 6 units away from 100, so above it I'm going to put a minus 6. And this 99 is 1 unit away from 100, so I'm going to put a negative 1. If I add across, if I combine these terms, that's this 93 from 1, or the 1 from the 93, I'm going to start my first digits to be 92. And again, you can always check when I take this 99, oh, that's supposed to be a 7, I'm sorry, and I subtract 7 from it, I'm still going to get 92. And when I multiply these 2 terms, a negative 1 times a negative 7, I'm going to get the number 0.7. Therefore, when I take 93 and I multiply it by 99, I'm going to get 92.07. Now I'm going to stop this video, and I want you to stop the video and do this last problem, and when you're finished, we'll go over it together. Okay, and for this last problem, we're multiplying 92 by 95. Well, we know that 92 is 8 units away from 100, so I'm going to put a negative 8 above the 92, and 95 is 5 units away from 100, so I'm going to put a negative 5 over the 95. When I combine across, I'm going to subtract the 5 from the 92, and I'm going to get 87. And that's the same, again, if I took the 8 from the 95 on the other direction. It really doesn't matter which way I do it. And then I'm going to multiply my negative 8 times my negative 5, and that's going to give me a positive 40. So my answer, when I take 92 and multiply it by 95, it's going to be 8,740. Now, I have one more case that we're going to work on, and in case 3, we're going to be multiplying 2-digit integers, where both integers are between any number, 10 and 99. So let's take 23 times 45. It's almost similar to the way we've done the other 2 problems with a few exceptions. Let's start. We got to multiply out units that's in the tens place. So we're going to take 2 times 4, and we know that's going to give us 8. So our first digit is going to be 8. Now this procedure is going to almost remind you of the distributive property that we use in the FOIL property that we use in algebra. I'm going to put a space because I have to find my middle digit. However, I'm going to multiply my 2 units in the ones place, and that's 3 times 5, and that's 15. So I'm going to put down my 5, and I'm going to carry my 1. To get my space in the middle, and the reason why I know I'm going to hold that space, again, both of these numbers are close to the number, or in the numbers of, it's in the tens, it's base 10. So I'm going to have this space open, and to find that answer, I'm going to multiply this 3 times this 4 and get 12. I'm going to multiply this 2 times this 5 and get 10. And when I add those 2 numbers together, I'm going to get 22. So I'm going to put the 2 here and carry the 2. And when I combine this all the way across, my answer is going to be 1035. It's a little different, but it's cute and it's easy way of doing two-digit multiplication. So let's try this again. I multiply my two digits that's in the tens place, and that's 3 times 2. And so I know my first digit is going to be 6. I'm going to leave an open space to represent my digit that I got to find. And then I'm going to multiply my two digits that's in the ones place. So I have 6 times 7, that's going to be 42. So I'm going to put down the 2 and carry the 4. To find my middle terms, I'm going to use what's called the rainbow effect. I'm going to take 6 times 2, and that's going to give me 12. And I'm going to take 3 times 7, and that's going to give me 21. So when I add the 21 to the 12, I'm going to get 33. So I'm going to put down this 3, carry this 3, and combine everything together. So my answer is going to be 972. I think this is such a cool technique. So let's try another one. Multiplying the two numbers that's in the tens place, 5 times 3, which is 15. So my leading digits is going to be 15. Again, I'm going to put a line because I got to fill in that space. And my last digits are going to be whatever I get when I multiply 2 times 3, and therefore that's going to be 6. To find the digit that's missing, I'm going to multiply my inner digits just like you do in FOIL. Use this rainbow effect. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 3 is 15. And 15 plus 6 is 21. So I put down the 1, carry the 2. So the answer to the problem of 52 times 33 is 1,716. And the last problem I'm going to do with you, just one more problem. We have 26 times 32. 2 times 3 is 6, so that's our first digit. We're going to put a space here because we got to fill in this digit. And then 6 times 2 is 12, so I'm going to put down a 2, carry the 1. And then I'm going to find my middle digit. Again, 6 times 3 is 18. And 2 times 2 is 4. And 18 and 4 is 22. So I'm going to put down this 2, carry this 2. And when I combine this, my answer is going to be 832. There you go. And that's how I multiply two-digit numbers.